By the 1990, the torture had reached epidemic proportions, to quote Amnesty International or then Human Rights Watch, and all of them were quoting the Israeli human rights organization, B'Tselem, the Israeli Information Center for Human Rights in the Occupied Territories. By 1990, Israel was systematically, that's their word, methodically, that's their word, routinely, that's their word, torturing and ill-treating Palestinian detainees. In fact, between 1987 and 1993, the figures are that Israel tortured about 20 to 30,000 Palestinian detainees, which proportionately was a huge number given the male population of the occupied territories. Well, obviously, not just proportionately, not just relatively, but objectively, it was a huge number. And now that Israeli human rights organizations were documenting it, the mainstream human rights organizations around the world, like Amnesty and Human Rights Watch, they now had a moral cover. They could say, we are simply reporting what the Israeli human rights organizations have themselves documented. And so Amnesty and so the other organizations, their reportage on the Israeli occupation dramatically changed beginning in 1990. And the last aspect, I looked just for briefly at the historical record, the human rights record, and the last aspect, the one which ought to concern us, and I'll take 5 more minutes, is that okay?
Sure.
The last aspect is the diplomatic record, namely how to resolve the conflict. For the longest time, everybody liked to quote the great Israeli statesperson Abba Eban, who famously said that the Arabs have never missed an opportunity to miss an opportunity for peace. That was a favorite saying, a favorite quip of Israel's supporters. Abba Eban was obviously very clever with words. At the United Nations, his adversaries used to disparagingly call him a wordologist because he seemed to go on ad infinitum in constructing very elegant sentences, one has to admit. But that claim of the Arabs never missing an opportunity to miss an opportunity for peace can no longer be sustained. The record is very clear. It's been documented in numerous fora, political forums such as the United Nations General Assembly, the highest judicial bodies in the world such as the International Court of Justice. The record is clear. And the record is, time doesn't allow me to exhaustively document it, but during questions and answers, I'll be happy to present the documentation. The record is as follows. For the past 20 or 30 years, the entire international community has supported a two-state settlement of the Israel-Palestine conflict on the June 1967 border. The settlement means Israel has to fully withdraw from the territories it occupied in June 1967, including East Jerusalem, which constitutes occupied Palestinian territory. The Palestinians should have the right to form a state of their own, exercising their right of self-determination in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and the Gaza, and there has to be a just settlement of the refugee question based on the principle of the right of return and compensation. Those are the terms for settling the conflict. If you look at the United Nations General Assembly over the last 20-year period, what you find is the whole world votes, literally. There's a resolution every year just about this time called Peaceful Settlement of the Palestine Question, which lays out the terms for resolving the conflict. It's the whole world on one side, and the United States, and the other side, it's Israel, the United States, Nauru, N-A-U-R-U, Palau, P-A-L-A-U, Micronesia, and the Marshall Islands. That's the way it lines up every single year. This past year, the vote was 164 to 7. Last year, it was 161 to 7. In 1989, it was 155 to 3. In 1996, it was 155 to 2. That's the record. And the record is the same if you look at the International Court of Justice in an advisory opinion, which I don't have time to look at right now. the advisory opinion stated very clearly, Israel has no title to any of the West Bank, Gaza, or East Jerusalem. These are, under international law, occupied Palestinian territories. All the settlements that Israel has built in the occupied Palestinian territories are illegal under international law. This settlement has been supported, as I said, by virtually every country in the world, including, incidentally, Iran, for those who are interested in the topic. It's also been supported by the Arab League. In 2002, the Arab League put forth a settlement along the lines I just described, but it went beyond the United Nations and said, if Israel will agree to the two-state settlement on the June 67 border and a just settlement of the refugee question, we're willing to have what they called normal relations with Israel, which means trade, tourism, and so forth. That was the Arab League proposal in March 2002, and the Arab League has repeatedly offered that proposal in the past 5 years. It's to be noted that every single member of the Arab League has endorsed the proposal. It's also been endorsed by the Palestinian Authority, or what used to be called the PLO, from the mid-1970s, and most recently, in the last couple of years, Hamas, the Islamic movement, has also gone along with the two-state settlement in the June 67 border and the just settlement of the refugee question. And that just leaves, as it were, two outliers, namely Israel, backed by the United States. And the main challenge now, I'm set? Yeah, okay. And the main challenge now is, I think, fairly straightforward. The main challenge now is to figure out a way to get Israel and the United States to join the rest of the international community, to respect the rule of law, and to respect enlightened public opinion, to achieve a just and lasting peace in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Thank you.
Today at the City Club of Cleveland, we are listening to Dr. Norman Finkelstein, political scientist and author of A Farewell to Israel, The Coming Breakup of American Zionism. We will return to our speaker in just a moment for our traditional City Club questions. We encourage you to formulate questions for our speaker now and remind you that it is very important that your questions should be brief and to the point. We welcome all of you here and those listening to WCPN 90.3 FM, WCLV, WTAM, or one of the many radio stations across the country. Radio broadcasts of the City Club are made possible through the generous support of Case Western Reserve University. Our television broadcast partners are WVIZ, PBS IdeaStream, and Time Warner Cable. Television broadcasts are supported by National City and Cleveland State University. Our live webcasts are supported by the University of Akron. On Friday, December 19th, the City Club is pleased to present a Friday Forum featuring Reverend Otis Moss Jr. If you wish to make reservations or order a CD or DVD of today's program, please call 1-888-223-6786 or 216-621-0082. We are pleased today to welcome to our forum students who are here as part of our City Club student program. Participation of these students is made possible by a generous grant from RPM International. With us today are students from John Hay and North Olmsted High Schools. Would our student guests now please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Nice to have you with us. We are pleased to welcome guests at tables hosted by Baker Hostetler and Case Western Reserve University. Now we'd like to return to our speaker for our traditional City Club Q&A period. We welcome questions from everyone, including guests. Holding the microphones today are City Club Development Director Jessica Leary-Allen and Assistant Development Director Marcella Brown. Would you come back up to the podium, please? Thank you.
Thank you.